Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Hello, and welcome to this part of the pond, where it's the bullfrog, and the newt's not behind the camera, but he'll be help editing, so we're 50% there. But if he was here, he'll be behind that camera saying face reveal at 100,000 subscribers. So please like, share, and subscribe, and go into the comment section. It kind of helps. And if you haven't seen from that intro, we are talking about Sardar Udham. Look, I am horrible with names, and I already have a bad time with English as it is, so if I mess everything up, it is my fault, and just please forgive me and don't hurt me. That's all I ask. And the movie Sardar I'm just going to call him, is a period piece movie, and I'm going to admit it. I knew squat nothing. I haven't seen a movie poster. I hadn't seen any trailers. I treated this movie the same way I treated HSRA. I was completely blind. So when I watched this movie, I thought he was going to go from India to England, and, well, he's going to build himself to be a name. He's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. Then why did you skip the travel from him going through the Afghan mountains to Russia to suddenly here? Why did you skip all of that? I thought this was going to be the story, but then a half hour in the movie, you see the main character assassinate a British figurehead. So now I understand what this movie is about. It's not about one man's growth. It's about why did he do this assassination? Why did he do this? What led him to this? And who is he, and who was that British figure he killed? Well, this movie isn't really linear. It begins with getting out of prison and leaving India around 1927 or 1929. And he goes from that to getting to England in 1933. And from 1933 to 1940, we know nothing. And we just know that after that time, when it's 1940, when England's about to go into World War II, he kills this man, and suddenly we're asking questions we don't understand. What's going on? I'm a lot more hooked. I'm a lot more interested. And as this movie progresses, we get samples of what he was doing in between 1933 and 1940, and how it led to this assassination. So during prison, we see him get tortured and beat up. Yeah, this movie is not meant for the faint of heart. And it's leading up to this trial. First, we are told things, but then it starts to show. And I like this movie and how it does show and tell. The tell kind of builds up to the show, and it does it really well. One man remarks tells how our main character stood up to the worker at this welding factory. After that interview, we see what happened, and you go, oh, okay, so this is what happened in that moment. As we are learning about our main lead, we also learn more about that man he assassinated. Very curious on how the movie shows that how these two actually interacted way more than once. And it had me asking the right question. Why didn't you do this time? Why did you do it here? Why? And you only get till later on the answers to all these questions. This is really well structured. You get me to ask questions, and you give me the answers and in the right way. This movie is all about building up to the last fourth of the film. It's brutal. When you watch this movie, don't think of the stereotype Indian movie. There's no big song and dance numbers. There are no beautiful songs. Well, there are, but they're not, well, vocal. It's all about the instrument. And the beautiful song, you only get until the end credits. This is more about the emotions. And I feel like this movie feels like it's Hacksaw Ridge and KSRA. It's in those two. It's in that sphere of these two films. But KSRA is a lot more lighter and fun, but it gets to that buildup of the ending and how that just is an emotional, horrible moment. It's all symbolic. It's all about its themes. And Hacksaw Ridge is kind of like that. It's a lot more. Its lightness and fun is a little bit more toned down than KSRA. It's all about how ugly war is. But again, Hacksaw Ridge is still a little lighter. Then we get to this movie. There's nothing light and laughter about it. This is an emotional, hard movie. And it's all building up to that ending, to this moment. And when it happens, it hits hard. You're going to need that box of tissues, no matter what your levels of testosterone is. It hits hard. And when it comes to movies like this, where it's trying to more highlight and show off, be a voice to this moment of history, it's hard to give it a review. So the best way to give it its review, it feels like it's going to be hard and rough on this subject. And this movie, it goes over through a rough patch. And that's why I kind of reveled in the structure of the film, of its storytelling, because that's a great way how to communicate this story. It's not to be linear. It's better when you do it like this. Cut it and mix it up a bit. The movie structure is great. The acting is good. There's a lot of harsh moments, and this movie isn't about glorifying cruelty. It's about just, again, the brutality of what really happened. They're not trying to make Sandhu like the KSRA 21. With the 21 of KSRA, they're trying to make him into like these demigod supermen, but a little bit more believable. With this guy, they didn't try to glorify anything. They tried their best to communicate this was real. There is very little glory in this depiction. It's just all about telling his story and building up to this big, cruel moment. It hits hard, it's structured well, the acting is good, the directions are great, and what would I put this? Because we judge movies 1 out of 7. Honestly, I'm going to have to be honest with this movie. And that is this. Opening night-itis. When you first watch a movie, you think it's amazing. You think it's a 7 out of 7 or a 4 out of 4 or 10 out of 10. It needs a year. Because I want to watch this more than once. Harsh as that may be. Because I personally think this movie is a 7 out of 7. But we call that a potential. We wait in an entire year. We watch them again and again. We analyze them. And there's a better structure of why we make 7s a 7s. So I'm going to wait an entire year to give this movie the final moment. So until that time comes, Sardar Udham is a potential 7 out of 7. And if you agree, disagree, put it down in the comments. But until next time, this is the Bullfrog. Wanting something a little bit more lighter next time. I can't help but recommend this to my American audience. Watch more Indian movies. They're not what we think we are. And also, I enjoy the levels of fun. There's levels of drama, tragedy, and there's levels of whoa. There's a new world out there, and it's Indian movies. I'm going to watch a whole lot more. But we are trying our best to uphold to our schedule and other plans, but there's going to be a lot more Indian movies in the future. And I can't wait to go into that.